Hey guys, Mike back again. Well, today I'm going to do a nice supper. It's around about, well, it's coming up to 4:30. So today I'm going to be making a nice shepherd's pie, but I'm going slightly against tradition and I'm making it with ground pork. So I'll just throw my pork into the pan. I'm going to start browning this off. I might have to do it in batches. I'd rather look, we'll see how we do. Yeah, we'll throw it all in. Just keep that moving around. Now the idea is we draw off our liquid out of there. So we're going to let that cook off. Then we will drain off any excess liquid. That's our first course of action. I just throw a little bit of vegetable oil in there just to help the meat not to stick. I wish I had a giant frying pan for this type of job, but it is what it is, and I'll use what I've got. Alright, that's the potatoes coming on. Yeah, they're getting nice and soft. I've turned them down onto a low heat now. I've drained the pork once. Still got a little bit of moisture in there, but that's to be expected. So now it's time to start adding the other ingredients. So first of all, 4 cloves of garlic. Right there. And 1 medium or a half a large onion. Start to get that incorporated and cook it down. Turn this one down a little bit now. So a medium heat. This is around about 2 pounds of pork mince. So this is where my little bits come in. I like to add a little bit of HP, brown sauce, just for that fruity flavour. Probably a good couple of tablespoons. I forget to go and buy some more of that. And a couple of tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And again, we'll start incorporating this. Now this is probably going to be one of the strange bits for you. I also add a tablespoon or so of ketchup. So that starts to mix in. There will be some beef stock going into this soon, but I just want some of these flavours to start getting into the meat first. I do have one more ingredient, which will be a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. And I'll go probably a little more than the tablespoon, probably a good 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. All these flavours really help with one another. Is this a traditional shepherd's pie? By no means, no. This is just my version, how I like it. But we can see that gravy's building now. In the bottom there. I will be checking salt content soon. The less salt the better. And a little bit of Italiano spice. A teaspoon or so. The smell on this is absolutely fantastic. I will be adding flavour to the mashed potatoes too. Right now I want to add more black pepper to the meat. And that should be good enough for now until I put the beef stock in. Right, so that's my potatoes done. I've just quickly ruffled them up. I'm going to drop a knob of butter in there and start that melting through, so we'll get that easy to mix. While that's melting, I have a cup of beef stock. Mixing that through there now into my mince. So that gives us a nice gravy base, and I'm going to add 2 cups of mixed vegetables. You can use fresh if you want, but I found frozen's just as handy, tastes just as good. You can add a little bit more if you wish, depends on how big of a pie you're making and how much vegetables you want, and are you going to be serving vegetables with this. I'm just going to have this as a standalone, so I might actually add a few more vegetables yet. But this is a nice mix with green beans, lima beans, sweet corn, peas and carrots. That's looking good now. See how we potatoes doing. If you have a potato ricer, it's easier, you get a better mix of potato. But once you get it broken down, mix it up with a fork just to double check. This will need a little bit more yet, still a little bit dry. You can add a little bit of milk if you wish. But as I said before, I'm lactose intolerant, so I use margarine or I use a lactose-free butter. That's mashed potatoes nice and smooth. I'm just going to add a good couple of tablespoons of grated parmesan, and we'll mix that one through. That just gives us that little bit of extra flavour. You see, I'm keeping this simple. You can make it as complicated as you want, but this is the simple way. And there we go. We are now ready to start putting our meat into our serving tray. That's nice. Put out the way and we'll just level that off. This is a lot of food in here. This will serve a good 6 people. There's only me and my lady, so where we're concerned, this gets frozen and put into lunches for later in the week. I will also add a little bit more. I will add a little bit more Parmesan cheese at this stage now. As I say, this is just my style, and then I will start to put my potato on. Potato time. I'll put it on in smaller pieces, that way it's easy to spread around. I sometimes add an egg to the potato, but I want this one to be a little bit drier. I'll just continue like this until we're covered. I mean, if you want to, this is a good festive dish. If you want to make it out of turkey, and use a turkey mince, so you can make basically a Christmas shepherd's pie. which is always a little bit of difference. So I will continue with that one and get back to you soon. And to finish off, yeah, I know technically speaking this makes this, to say this is a cottage pie and to say it's a variation. So we'll just put some cheese on the top of this one. Have a good covering. Make sure everything's covered, but it doesn't have to be thick. Just a small amount, move it around. You don't have to put the cheese on if you don't want to. I have friends who love my shepherd's pie, but they will not eat it if it's got cheese on. And I've got other friends who say shepherd's pie doesn't have cheese on. That should be a cottage pie. I used to always joke and say it was cottage pie because of the cheesy thatch on the top. But each for their own. So that's going to go in the oven for about 20 minutes till that browns off and bubbles and we get all that nice flavours melded together. That's 350 for around about 20 minutes. But just keep your eye on it. If it's burning too quick, lower your heat. Well, there we have it. It's in the oven, ready to go. I'm just going to push this in there. I actually misspoke there earlier on. It wants to be 350 for around 30 minutes. So we'll just close that up. See you in 30 minutes. And we're almost there. That is looking absolutely fantastic. I'm liking the look of that one already. Let me know what you think. And even if I do say so myself, that looks absolutely fantastic. I've swapped over to grilling just to brown the top off a little bit more. You can see that bubbling away, turning brown as we speak. So I'll give it another 30 seconds or so and then that's coming out of the oven. So I'm just going to cut out a little wedge. Nothing overcomplicated. Well, I think I'll go for that. That should be good for my evening meal. Just run around the edges, make sure nothing's sticking. The first piece is always the most difficult to get out, but we'll see how we do. Well, a little bit messy, but I can put them back in. And we'll get a spoon. I'll try and get a spoon if I can remember where they are. We'll just get a spoon now. And we'll get the rest of that in there. And that should, to your mind as well as to mine, be a thing of beauty. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks very much. Mike loves you all. Mike out.